Hello, hello. How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm better than last week. How are you?
I feel a bit lighter in myself now that I've vented all my shit.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
feel a lot better in myself. But shall we kick off with our highs and lows since we're both feeling a little better? Go for it. No, I'll let you go first.
Okay, my high is that I am going to America in a week and I'm seeing my family and seeing the kids and I've got my cousin's wedding and stuff like that. So I'm really excited for that.
Nice.
My low, I think my low is just the weather. Like it's pissing down with rain. It's dark. We
Um,
had a storm yesterday. Yeah, and I'm like, it's like spring. Where's this glorious weather that we're supposed to be having?
yeah.
So,
Well,
not very serious ones, but yeah, that's my high and low of the week. What about you?
so I'm going to start off with my low. My low is probably all the stress from the past few weeks have definitely now started having a more physical effect of I've had this headache now for 2 days. So yesterday it was a migraine. Today it's now not a bad headache, but when you're just like, I just need to sit in a dark room, close my eyes and all the rest of it. So that's probably my low. And the fact that
Okay.
you guys in Scotland had the storm during the day. I don't know
Mm.
what's worse, to be woken up 3 times by the rain pelting like it's the old Bill trying to get into your door without a warrant or with a warrant. Do you know what I mean? I'm just like, are you having a laugh? Are you having a laugh? Why is it so bloody loud? The storm last night was so bad. And I was actually strong in my willpower to stay asleep or not wake myself up
Okay.
fully, that I didn't actually look out the window like I normally would to be like, what is going
Mm.
on? Armageddon or something. Um, it was so annoying. Anyway,
Yeah.
and then my high is probably just I feel a bit lighter, like I said, from having
Good.
vented all my shit. I need a bit
Frustration.
of resolve, and that will happen. But yeah,
Good. Oh no, I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm glad we're both in a better headspace and we're feeling better. Because I did feel like the last episode we did end on a bit of a lull, which is not like us.
no,
But you know what? It just shows how authentic this is, and how authentic we are. And you get what we give, like naturally, exactly how we're feeling and stuff like that. So yeah,
yeah.
good.
So you'll remember, and hopefully our listeners remember. And if you don't remember or don't know, get to following us on Instagram at Rooted Voices Pod because we put out a box in the story asking you for your dating stories. So that's what this episode's going to be about. And we had a few come through. So should I start reading one of them?
Go for it.
Um,
So I think what we decided to do, I've had so many messages about this. Like when I put that up, it was like, oh my God, I cannot wait for this episode. And I was like, come on, guys, give us the juice. But before we do start them, I just want to say if you are listening on Spotify or Apple, please go follow and subscribe. If you are listening on YouTube or watching us on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button and that bell icon so you can get notifications. And if you are on socials, please follow us on at Rooted Voices Pod on Instagram, at rooted.voices.pod on TikTok. I done the same thing that you done last week.
uh,
Um, and at Rooted Voices on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. So please, please, please do go follow the socials. You'll hear about all of its episodes, and we also put up like little snippets, like sneak peeks, so you get a flavour of what's coming. But yeah, let's kick it off. I think we decided that because we were going to keep this anonymous, and we're going to do this like Asian style. We're going to name all the girls Simran, and we're going to name all the guys Raj.
and we're going to show you that DDLJ was just as great of a
A
film
dream.
it is.
It's a
Yeah,
dream.
it was a dream. This is what happens when Bollywood doesn't script your love life. So, um, this is from a female perspective. So Simran has written in, I was introduced to a guy within the South Asian community who I know of, but had never spoken to personally. Things were completely fine over WhatsApp, and we were both at a temple event. I went over to put my plate away when he came over into my direction. I stopped to say hello. He immediately looked in shock, horror to see me, And then his head went straight down and he rushed off. Okay. And then,
Weird.
emphasis on and then, when I
Okay.
got back home, he texted me to ask how I am and what my thoughts were about progressing things on a date. Like, love, are you all
What?
right? Why would I choose to communicate with somebody who can't speak to me in real life? I don't get it.
So he's a keyboard warrior.
I
He's a
wouldn't say
texter.
warrior.
But, like, more confident, like,
Yeah.
behind the screen rather than that's so weird.
Did you not
That's
like
so
stop
weird.
him and be like, love, are you all right? Do you need help? What's going on? Why are you running off? Like, it's
Oh.
just so
Do you think it's
weird.
I think it's a confidence thing. Like, I think some guys are shy though, like so are girls, but some people are shy. Like, they find it easier to talk, like text and like message and stuff rather than
Yeah, but to
going
look in shock
face to
and
face.
horror.
But how can you ask for it to progress and then that would have been your perfect opportunity to be like, "Oh, hi, like you look beautiful today. How are you doing?" or whatever. Like give her a compliment. Say something nice in person. And you would have
Mm,
been able to see whether you had chemistry. And if you had
yeah,
chemistry, like, oh, do you know what, actually, it was really nice. I felt really comfortable talking to him and stuff like that. And then if he'd sent that message when she got home, like, oh, do you know, it was really nice seeing you today in person. Would you like to like, go on another date or whatever? That would have been like the perfect segue into that. Whereas completely like, see you later, and then asking to progress when you get home, that's just
yeah.
weird. That's
Like,
weird.
I want to know what Simran you said back to him. Like, did
Yeah,
you just leave it? Or did you ghost him and that was your version of like head down, walk away? What
maybe.
a weirdo, honestly.
As a weirdo. Yeah.
Shall we move on to the next one? I was speaking to someone and then
Is this
proceeded to
another
go on a
Simran
hen do.
or is this a Raj?
No, this is a Simran again.
Okay.
Sorry, I should have made that clear. So I was speaking to someone and then proceeded to go on a hen do. We all had gone out, and the next morning I was telling him how I was exhausted. He then proceeded to ask. He then proceeded to ask which drugs I took,
I'm sorry, what?
and then listed them out as some sort of WhatsApp drug test. I don't drink, I don't smoke or take drugs. And he was very intimate with the questions. I didn't continue the conversation. And when I told one of the girls, she told me to ditch him and proceed to set me up with someone else. When I spoke to the drugs guy, a good while later, he said, I was so confused as to why things went dead between us. I just wanted to know what sort of party you were at. I don't get it. No, mate. You're you're right.
If a guy asked me what drugs do you take, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, like all the classic, I inject heroin." Like, are you stupid? Why would
Ask your
you
mum.
ask
She's my
him
dealer. Ask your mum. She's my dealer. Genuinely, you absolute weird. Also, why is that your first thought? Like, surely, I mean, I don't know
So she
the
said
side effects of
she said they
drugs.
were on so they went to a hen weekend together, which I find strange.
No, no,
Okay.
no, they didn't go together. She said, I was speaking to someone and then proceeded to go on a hen do.
Oh,
And
right,
then
okay,
the
okay.
whole thing came about. But my thing
Right.
is like, on, uh, I mean, I know some drugs mellow you out, but don't the other like class A ones like wire you that you don't sleep and you're just like bouncing off the walls?
I would assume so. That's why they're so like, popular in clubs and stuff.
Yeah, flipping weirdo.
What? That is so strange.
If someone said that to me, I'd be like, love, are you on drugs?
Mm,
Like,
yeah.
what made you come to this conclusion that I've taken drugs? Do you take them? If so, what do you take? Why do you take them?
Yeah.
Stupid idiot. Um,
Yeah, I don't even know how I'd react to that, to be honest.
exactly.
I don't think anyone would even dare to ask me that. But I think if they did, I'd be like, "Are you serious?"
Yeah.
Especially when you don't drink. Like the girl's like, "I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't take drugs." She didn't even drink. All she said was she was tired. Wasn't
Do
that
you know
all
what I
she
would have
said?
said? I'd be like, paracetamol. That's the drugs I've taken. Paracetamol, ibuprofen.
That's so weird. That's so weird. Okay,
Um,
I've got one from Raj.
go for it.
So this one's actually somebody told me rather than sent it in. So they actually sent me a voice note, right? But I'm gonna I'm gonna try and do it the way they told me. Oh, hi, my name's Raj, and I would like to share a story
I
of
was hoping you'd do like a deeper voice, to be honest. Hi, my name.
God, um my Scottish voice is deep enough as it is. I can't get deeper than that, right? So my name is Raj, and I was talking to this girl on this infamous South Asian dating app, which is basically now trash. Um, I'm not going to name
No,
any dating
no.
apps, uh, but we got to know each other, and we exchanged like contact details, and we started talking on like Snap and things like that. And then we spoke for a couple of weeks, and then things died down. Like we didn't really talk. And then 2 weeks later, she got back in touch, and then we spoke for another couple of weeks. So it kind of picked up
Oh.
again. However, I started getting the feeling that, do you know what, we're just not aligned. It's not going to work, and I just think that it'd be better if we, call it quits. So I said that to her. I was like, so I was ready to say that to her, but she she sent me a Snapchat and saying, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Hey, nothing. I'm just like getting ready to go to like work or whatever." And he's like, "Oh." And then asked her, "What are you doing?" And she said, "Oh, I've just come back from shopping with my sister." So I proceeded to ask her, I'm like, "Oh, that's nice. Did you buy anything nice?" And then she sent me a Snapchat of her wearing lingerie. And I was very taken aback by this because, one, I'm not a guy who ever like asks for like those kind of pictures, and um I don't support that kind of stuff. So it took me aback. And then this felt like the perfect opportunity for me to say, "Do you know what? You're a really nice girl, but I just don't think that we're aligned. And I wish you all the best with like your dating endeavors and stuff like that." Right. So I did. So to say that. And then she started spamming me. So she didn't take it very well. And she started spamming me and calling me and messaging me and all this kind of stuff, right? So I blocked her on WhatsApp, I blocked her like number on my phone and stuff like that, but I forgot to block her on Snap. And a couple of days later, she calls me. She's like, I didn't realize that you could call people on Snap. And he's like, she called me and I declined the call, and then she sent me, like, videos, voice recordings of, like, I never knew you were this kind of guy. I can't believe you've done this to me, this, that, and the other." And he's like, I didn't do anything, right?" And then she, like, sent me a voice note saying, "I know where you live," like, this, that, and the other, and it's like, "I thought better of you," and stuff. And this girl lived, like, 150 miles away from me, right? Like it was not, she wasn't in my vicinity. And I was like, do you know what? This girl's a psycho. It's like, just be polite. And I'm not a person who blocks people, but I was like, this girl is like insane. And then she started sending me messages of, like, singing this song, this Punjabi song, like, on Snapchat, and it's literally, like, story after story after story that I'm getting a snap after
Mhm.
snap I'm getting of her just singing this, like, Punjabi emotional song on the phone at me, and I'm
Did he
like,
not tell us what song it was?
he said it was "Kismet" by Amir,
No, stop. Oh
right?
my god.
So
You
so
know,
she's, like,
sorry,
singing this
just before
song.
you carry
Yeah.
on, you know my mum, like, when that song came out, she'd keep playing that song, and it drove me flipping insane. So the fact that Pajama's getting spammed with this song, I'm like, "Nah, I'm ready to throw my phone out the
So
window."
he's like, I actually really like that song. And now it's like, it's trauma. I can't even listen to it anymore. So, and then he phoned his friend and he's like, "Oh my God. So do you remember this? Do you remember Simran? I was talking to Simran." And he's like, "Yeah, how's it going?" And then I told him like what was going on. Like, and my friend said to me, "Bro, like, you gotta call the police." And he's like, "Nah, man, that's excessive. Like, why would I call the police?" And he's like, "Bro, she said she knows where you live." It's like, "Nah, it's cool, it's cool." And then I started thinking about it and I was like, actually, that's really weird. Like, I've never told her where I live, right? So he's like, okay, I casually called the police and I was like, "Hey, this is what happened," and stuff like that. And they're like, "Yeah, it's fine. We'll come around and take a statement later today or whatever." And he's like, "That's fine." But Raj was on his way to his mussies, chilled at his mussies for a bit, on his way home. Got home, police were there, unmarked vehicle, so it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
But his parents were there, so he had to tell the police everything in front of his parents, and
No.
his parents, like, super religious, like, like, very into the Gurdwara, like, very simple people, like, right? And he's like, I'm sitting there telling them about, like, her sending me lingerie pictures on Snapchat while I'm looking like a conjure, right? He's like, I'm like, I haven't done anything wrong. I didn't solicit these pictures and stuff like that, right? And he's like, it was the most embarrassing thing. And then
Bloody
all you
hell.
hear is bang, bang, right? And he's like, we all just like stood up and the police stood up and like, was that a shotgun? Like, was that a gunshots? Right? And we all ran outside. Simran is standing there with an axe hacking into my car at
No.
the petrol bit. She's standing there with an axe hacking into my car. And the police are like, what are you doing? And she's like, I didn't do anything. Her boot was open and she had like 5 petrol canisters in her boot. The bitch came to blow the street up, right? So thankfully, thank God he listened to his friend and he'd called the police when he did. Luckily the police were there. They saw it all. She got arrested, taken away, and this actually went to court, right? Because
Oh,
so the police came back. The police were like, okay, we have to come back and finish your statement or whatever. So she got arrested. The police came back the next day and said, um, oh, actually, we need to see your full statement and stuff like that. And so he's like, where did you meet her? So he told them like a dating app, etc., etc. And then they were like, yeah, there's actually she's actually already going through like a court case, like she's for oh, what was it, stalking. She's actually already going through a court case for stalking, and she has been told by the judge that she's actually not allowed on dating apps,
oh
right?
my God.
So Simran has broken this court order or like, the judge's order by going on dating apps and meeting other people. And while this whole thing's going on, obviously she's released and they told them that they told Raj that this thing's gonna go to court and stuff like that, right? And he's like, what the hell? And then one day Simran turns up at his house again. And
Stop.
he's like,
No, this bitch. This bitch
she's
needs to chill out.
walking around the house, looking like peering into the windows of the house. And Siraj obviously calls the police again and like, the bitch is back.
Nah.
She gets arrested and then she gets sectioned into a mental hospital,
Oh my
right?
God.
The court date comes and Raj goes to court and the girl gets 2 years in a mental asylum.
What the
And this, like, after I heard the story, I was like, yeah, bro, I'm off
Oh
dating
my
apps.
God. I figured out how she found out where he lives.
How?
On So I haven't used Snapchat in years.
Mm.
But on there, if you don't hide your location, people can see it. Anyone in the world can see where you are if you're friends with them.
But this was like, I think that's a new thing. That's a newer thing, isn't it?
No,
Like,
because
this was like,
I haven't been on Snapchat in about like since COVID.
yeah, this is
And
probably
that was a
the stuff of
feature.
COVID. Wow, I didn't know that. Okay. I don't use
So
Snapchat, so.
around COVID time, Snapchat would have had the feature. And I
Mm.
think even before then it might have done. But when it
Uh,
first came out, it didn't have that feature. It was like a new
yeah.
thing that came out. Damn.
So
Is
Raj
Raj
is
getting
traumatized.
counselling for all of this?
Raj has not had counseling for all of this. I think he needs it, to be honest. He's
Mate,
like, I'm off women. I'm off dating apps.
I wouldn't be surprised. And do you
Yeah.
see how like people might think that we've been attacking men quite a lot on this podcast? But we've always said that women can be just as toxic, and this proves it.
Proves it, mate. There's plenty of psycho women out there. So yeah, that's the first
Mate,
ride story I've got. I
that
think I've
I
got more
don't
ride stories and you've got more Simran stories, haven't you?
yeah, but I've actually got a story that someone sent me, and it's it's not as psychotic as that, but it even I'd be freaked out. And this is like where I'm like, thank God bars and pubs and I think even restaurants, you can ask for where's Angela.
Angela. Yeah.
Yeah. Because when this story happened, there was no such thing, right?
Mm.
And I think this is where, like, as a society, whether it's a man asking for help in an awkward position or a woman, if you can do something to help them out, friggin' help them out because this is not okay. So this is from a Simran, and she says that I was on a dating app that is now not just about looking for love anymore,
Mm.
but when I was on it, it was all about looking for love. I came across
Hey,
this guy, and
Raj found someone on the same app.
no, this is Tinder.
Oh. Oh, okay.
So I've
Well, I
actually like,
got Raj found her on the Asian version of Tinder.
well, there you go. But, like, with Tinder, when it first came out, because I remember my friend telling me, "Oh, there's this new app out. Why don't you try it? It's called Tinder." And when I actually signed up for it, people were normal and they were just looking for love, right? And now it's just like hanky panky spanky in it all the time. And
Yeah.
people like need to chill
Got
out on
such a
these apps.
bad reputation. Yeah.
Yeah. But I know people that have met their partners on Tinder before it became hanky panky, and they've actually got married and they've been together ever
Good.
since.
Good.
Yeah, so Simran was on, like I said, she was on Tinder, and she came across this profile of a Raj, and she says, when I saw it, he looked way out of my league, and I wasn't sure whether he would match back with me, but I thought I'd take a chance on love and see what happens. A few weeks later, I get a notification to say that we match, and I was really surprised. But then I thought something doesn't feel right. This feels too good to be true. Now, when you know it's too good to be true, right? It's too good to be true. It's very rare. It is true. We started talking over the chat and then eventually decided to meet up. I gave him my number and we arranged over text our first date. When I go on dates, I usually will give the person a call just to clarify time, date, and location. But for
Mm.
some reason, he would never answer my phone calls, but he'd always respond straight away in a text message. Red flag. I texted him on the night of our date that I was running extremely late because I was stuck in traffic from work. And he said not to worry, that he was going to the pub to watch the football with his friends and he'd meet me after. So I got ready, made my way. Now, this is where I wish I noticed him first. He came over to me because he recognized me and said hello. And that's when I realized the photos he put up on Tinder were actually pre-drug addict photos. Yeah, you could completely tell that he was either still taking or recovering. But from his behavior and mannerisms, I wouldn't be surprised if he used that night. Not only was he out of it, he was also very drunk already. I was too shy and too nervous to walk away and get my train home. But I also didn't want him to see what train line I was getting because that would narrow down his search should he ever try to stalk me. We get to a pub and the doorman asks for our ID. He reluctantly shows his and I give mine. We then get inside the pub and start to order drinks. The bar staff again asked for our ID. This was where I really should have walked away because the way he spoke, screamed, and shouted at staff about how he was with such a beautiful woman and how dare he ask them for her ID. I was so mortified. I told him to shut the hell up under gritted teeth and give over your ID. They then told us that they only had plastic glasses and not glass wine glasses. And again, he decided to kick up a fuss. Again, I told him to shut up and just walk away. As we sat down, again, I was too nervous to walk away. But as we sat down, I started asking him questions about his life. And I wanted to get down to knowing why he decided to start to use. He mentioned that he had a girlfriend in high school who became pregnant with his best friend's baby. She cheated on him. And unfortunately, when it came to the birth, it was a stillbirth. They decided to get
Wow.
back together before she gave birth and pretend that the baby was his and they'd live happily ever after. I then asked, is it because you guys lost the baby that's why you turned to drugs? No. We broke up because the bitch set me on fire. Yeah, that was my reaction when I read this. I then carried on talking and he berated me about my friend's character of choice. That is my favorite character. And when another man at the bar noticed I was uncomfortable, he stood at the ledge of our table. And when my date looked away, he mouthed, "Are you okay?" I quickly shook my head, asking for help. This dickhead decided to turn around and walk away without helping me. I then decided to call it a night because it was getting late and he started walking me out. He asked me what my intentions were for dating and I said to get married. He asked what age I want to get married at. I told him in jest, you know, the Asian culture by 25. He asked me when I turned 25. I said in 7 months' time. He then told me to give him my dad's number so his dad could call mine. Yeah, right, mate. As if. I then quickly walked away and said my goodbyes. But the looks I got from other women on the street of disgust of why was I with this person made me cringe on the inside because this wasn't my choice. I then got on my train and decided to block him on everything. But like Raj, she forgot to block him on Tinder. He sent her a message berating her, calling me derogatory names, and I quickly blocked him on that too. And I've never seen him again, thank God.
I hope she reported him.
She doesn't say.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that is scary. But the dickhead who didn't like help her, are you alright, lads? Like genuinely, are you alright?
Why would you ask someone that and then walk away when they said, no, I'm not okay?
Exactly.
Oh my God. I think if, by the end of this episode, if we haven't put people off dating apps, right? I don't know what we're doing wrong.
I'm telling you, meet me in the wild,
Yeah.
please. Just be
Do one
everything
in the
else like
wild.
normal. Be quirky if you like, but just don't be conjured. Like
Yeah.
Palaz, just don't be an asshole.
Okay, I have another rad story, right? This one's a little bit
I'm
extreme.
scared. I'm so scared. Not anymore.
No, this one's we've been asked for this episode. We have to do it. Okay, so my name's Raj, and I recently came out of prison, and I've been in prison for I think the last 8 years, right? But I'm very focused on. I lost my dad at a young age. It's only my mum, and I got into the wrong crowd when I was younger, and due to that, I made some bad decisions in my life, and I ended up in prison. Regret my decisions, but that's basically how my life ended up like that for context. Anyway, so I've come out and I'm like determined to like, fix my life, be a normal person, relationship, etc. etc. So I speak to one of my friends and he suggests, why don't you go on this Asian dating app and find someone, settle down, get married, start your normal life, etc. And because I don't speak to majority of my family, I feel really lonely. So I think, do you know what I do? I need to find someone, I need to find a partner and start my life. So I do. And I managed to get this job. I managed to get this like really, really good job. It doesn't pay a lot, but it's a good job. It's a great stepping stone, and I'm really proud of myself. And I passed all the security checks and stuff like that. So this is going to be my fresh start.
Mm.
So I meet this girl, and she lives in Europe, right? I think she lived in Austria or Switzerland, one of these places, right? She lives in Europe, and we're getting on really, really well. And then she comes over to see me, right? And it goes really well. And then we decide, okay, I'll come over and see her the next time. And I'm really excited. I'm so invested in this because I'm like, this is it. Like, this is my happy ending, right? I'm actually gonna do this and I'm gonna like, and we've been speaking for like 3 months by the time I go over. And so we go over, I stay at hers at the weekend, like I'm over for the weekend, stay at hers, and I propose. I propose after 3 months.
Wow.
And I spent all of my money that I've saved on this engagement ring.
Okay.
All of my money.
Do me a favor.
And obviously she rejects me and tells me that I'm not somebody that she would want to marry. And I'm heartbroken. And I decided to propose on the first night I got there. Therefore, I have 2 more awkward nights with her in her apartment. Basically, I left there very, very heartbroken. I came back and I told my best friend, and he told me I was an idiot and
Yeah, I'll
how
say
that
the same.
told me I was an idiot and how I shouldn't have proposed after 3 months. I should have got to know her better and stuff like that. But I think I was just so in love and caught up in everything that, I just got swept away and I was just so desperate to find my person and start my life that I done it. But ultimately I lost the money because when I went to return the ring, they wouldn't give me my money back. So I now have an engagement ring worth like 8 grand, and I can do nothing with it. So, yeah, that's, Raj number 2.
Do me a favour, love. Are you alright? Listen,
When
I
I
wouldn't
read
sound
that,
desperate, but we are all wanting, right, and have a desire to find the one. And we
yeah,
all want to settle down, right? But 3 months,
when I
mate,
like, when I read that, I was like, I wonder what was going through, like, the girl's head. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
so she must have known everything about, like, his situation and stuff like that. So, like, kudos to her for, like, trying to give it a chance and stuff like that, right? Like, she's a better woman than me. But she must have been like, "Are you psycho?" But I did think when I read this that, do you know what? That guy would dote on her. Like, he would actually dote on her. Like, he would be so infatuated the whole time that he would dote on her.
yeah.
But would that then wear off? Um, but yeah, I just thought, to me, I was like, that is
Do you know what? I
like,
think I think it's because he's on this whole, I'm changing my life and I'm
yeah,
improving. And like, there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely well done. And he's like, right, tick, got a job, tick, got a house, tick, moved away, tick, now in a better and more mature headspace.
yeah,
But then you've gone, right, next thing on my bucket list is to get a wife. Tick. After three
yeah.
months, give over, love. I actually
Okay.
give over. And
It's
do you know
it's
what?
weird though, because then you have like, when I read this, I was like, "Oh my god, there's actually guys out there who do this." Like, because majority of the guys you meet are like running away from commitment and like don't know what they want and all this kind of stuff. So it was actually like, oh, I'm
But
actually surprised.
there are people that get engaged and married like within weeks of having met each other, right? But you're on the same page. Did you not think to have a conversation with them like, oh, so it's been 3 months. How do you think things are going? Where would you like it to
Yeah,
progress next? Not bloody
yeah,
by a ring you can't return, you moron.
yeah. I'd
Like,
love to know
mate,
what his best friend said to him. I would like if my best friend came up and told me that, I'd smack him across the head. What's wrong with you? You clearly have more money than sense.
well, give me the 8 grand, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've been
I'll look
canned
after
over.
things. Yeah, I'll do
I've
something
got
sensible
holidays
with
to
it,
pay
love.
for, I've got credit cards to pay off.
Exactly. I've got a retreat to go to, mate, to get Zen Anne
Mm,
back. That's how much it's probably going to cost, if not more, to get her back.
exactly. Jesus, yeah. So that's
Flipping
my
heck,
second psycho ride story of the day.
isn't it? Are we ready for another Simran?
Yes, go for it.
Oh no, it starts off like she sounds like Raj. Honestly. I was infatuated with a guy I was dating long distance, different time zone. He made it quite clear he was quite chill about things and didn't want to commit. He sent me nothing on my birthday. I sent him a massive sushi making kit and also stalked the tracking to ensure it got there. I thought I was going to say stalked him. I researched how to send it there and spent tons of money on it all. But what did I get in reply? Nothing. And then, "Well, you didn't need to." We continued a bit longer and then we decided to stop. He changed his number and updated me with it. And then for my birthday, when I was dating someone else, he signed me up to a monthly book subscription and sent across a massive bunch of flowers just randomly. Very bizarre. I've seen him since and he knows my husband. I was incredibly desperate.
I think the problem is he was incredibly desperate.
No, it ends with, but I was incredibly desperate. I don't get that ending. But
Yeah, I think
besides the
yeah.
point, if my guy's telling you he don't want anything, why are you spending time and effort to send all this crap to him?
Yeah, but she
And
was
then,
probably like, and like when you're in that stage and you want to like progress things, you want to do nice stuff for each other, right? So maybe it was like, oh, this will like help us move on to the next stage and like that kind of stuff rather than, I don't know, but the fact that he done that is
yeah, but
just weird.
then it sounds like as if she's met someone and now she's in a committed relationship and he's just like, "Oh, I want you now." That's the
Yeah,
sort of
'cause
stuff I don't like with dating.
yeah, I want you because I can't have you. So,
Exactly. Exactly that. So,
mm.
but what a boundary. Why would you bloody send someone like a sushi
I
making
mean,
kit and
I
spend all
like
that
the gift that
time,
he
money and
sent,
effort?
but too little, too late, mate. Too
No,
little, too
I
late.
don't like that. You sign me up to a monthly book subscription.
Why?
I thought it
You're
was
a
gonna,
reader.
I know, but I'd be like, no, just because I don't know if it's an ebook or if it's an actual. book. I
What
like
difference
physical
does
books
it make?
because I like physical books, as you can see.
So what?
I
It's the
hate
thought.
reading off a screen. I
It's the
hate reading off a
thought.
screen. No, if you know me, you know I like a physical book. Simple as.
Yeah. Okay,
And
I have a
actually,
sibling
clearly,
story.
I was under such a murderous rage last year that, for Christmas, Ajay and Rav both bought me the same book, and I think it's How to Kill Your Family and Get Away with It, something like that. But yeah,
Are
I
they
got
trying to give
2
you
copies
ideas?
of they well, I haven't read it yet, but they gave me 2 copies. I don't need any more ideas, mate, trust me, on how to murder people at the moment. But yeah, they both bought me a copy each, and then they didn't I was like, "Did you guys not talk to each other?" They're like, "Yeah, but, like, we just thought the other one was gonna buy the book." So I was like, "Okay, cool. I've got 2 copies of the same book.
If
Fine by
if
me."
they thought the other one was gonna buy it, why did they both buy it? Then nobody should have bought it.
They thought that the other one sorry, I was meant to say they thought the other one wouldn't buy it. So they
Oh,
yeah, I was like, "Do you know what? You're just sending me hints at this point, aren't you?"
literally, give 'em don't ask, like, I don't need any more ideas, mate.
There you go.
Okay, I have a Simran story. Right. Hi, my name is Simran, and I went on a crazy weekend away with a guy and met him for the first time there. So, to break it down, I was talking to a guy from Dilmore, and we started to get to know each other really well. And he lived quite far away from me. So, we thought, why not meet in a common place? This common place ended up being Iceland. So, he was going on a trip for work and invited me along. And I thought, why the hell not? To make it clear, I don't usually do things like this. I'm very reserved, very quiet, and I don't really go out very much. However, I thought I need to change the way things are because the guys I'm meeting currently are not the kind of guys I want to meet. So maybe I should change it up and put myself out there. So I did. I met him at the airport for the first time when I landed in Reykjavik, and he seemed really nice. However, things got worse. So we went out for dinner, and then I ended up paying, which is fine because he paid for my flight out. She's her writing isn't very good. The next day we were out on a trip, which was really fun. However, he spent the whole day talking about his ex. This was the first time that I realized that he had been engaged before. He hadn't told me this previously, which is fine. I don't mind that he had a broken engagement. However, he literally spent the whole day talking about his ex. And the ring. The ring, his ex-sister-in-law and his ex were the conversation of the whole day. I was so drained from listening about it. I actually wanted to get away from him. Luckily, I only had one more day left in Reykjavik. However, it was so painful. If you haven't got the idea by now, when I went to the airport after he dropped me off, uh, I blocked him. So she didn't even wait till she got home.
I don't blame her.
Yeah, she's like, "I never heard from him again, and I thought it was really awkward, but I just I've never put myself in that situation again."
Yeah.
But
Why would you go away with someone that quickly? I feel like I'd have to know you pretty well
to go on a
before
date
going
like
away.
that,
But even
yeah,
like
imagine
people
a
I know
first
really
date.
well. So like if you said to me, let's go away together next week, I'd be like, I'd be nervous or anxious about it. Not about going with you, but I'm like,
Yeah,
no, I like, what if you like doing things a certain way and I like doing things another way? Is it going to annoy the other person?
yeah. No, but I'm the same. I like my personal space, so, like, even when I go away with a friend, like, I went with a friend to Italy, like, separate
Hmm.
rooms, like, or separate like, there's only very few people I actually share a room with because, like, I like having my own personal space.
Yeah. No, that
Um,
bit's fine. But what I mean, as in, like, if I want to do an activity and
mm,
you're like, "No, I don't like that." But if I didn't wanna do the activity you wanna do, I'd still do it regardless because I know it's something that you wanna do,
yeah,
and you want us to do it together. But yeah, she's silly for going away so quickly with this guy.
yeah, maybe
Like,
she just wanted to put herself out there, but yeah.
yeah, I'd block him straight away as well if I was her.
I think this is like one of the things that, I think I spoke about on the first episode is guys moving on too quickly or people moving on too quickly. Like clearly this guy's still hung up on his ex, right? And because I mean, if you're trying to impress another girl or you're trying to talk to another guy, do not talk about your ex. Like, just don't do it. There's no that should be time that you guys are spending together, trying to get to know each other, seeing if, like,
Mm.
we can
You're
progress,
compatible.
if it's gonna go anywhere. Yeah, we have anything in common. Does he make me laugh? Like, is this gonna be fun? Whatever. Like, that to me would have been like, like sirens going off. Like, bro, you are not over your ex. Clearly. Why are you here? Why am I here?
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
exactly.
Mm.
What is your perspective on someone telling you whether they've been engaged before or divorced before? Like, is that something you feel that you have to be told about?
Yeah.
How long would you wait if it was you in that position? I think I'd be like, when I know things are like, I definitely want to go on a
No,
date with this person.
for me it's earlier. For me it's like first, second conversation.
Okay.
Like, oh, by the way, I was like previously engaged or I was previously married or it's like I've just come out really like whatever. I like very early on, very, very early on. Because I think it's one of those things you need to just get it out of the way. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, cool. Like, and like usually when someone says that to me, like, oh, by the way, I was previously married, I'm like, okay, are you ready for another relationship? Like, what is it? Like, are you ready? And it's from that you can start telling whether someone actually is or isn't. Because sometimes, like, if you don't know, there was this guy. It's actually one of my stories. Right? I was speaking to this guy in Canada, and he was like, "Oh, what did he?" So he was going through a divorce, right? He's like, "I'm separated. I'm going through a divorce," and that to me, I'm always like really cautious. I'm like, oh, okay, like because the headspace you're in at that time and stuff like that, it's just you know. So I'm like, oh, okay, like, are you when did you separate? And he's like, oh, I think I separated like 7 months ago. It's like you literally just separated. And I was like, how long were you together? And I think he's like, "Oh, we were together for like 6 years or something like that." And I'm like, "You just separated from like a 6-year relationship and you think that you're ready to go into another one?" So yeah, yeah, yeah. I wanna find a partner. And that to me, I
But
was
how do
like,
you have
"Okay."
time? Like, how do you
Bro,
have
it gets
time in that
worse.
headspace?
This is exactly my point, right? And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then I put it on the other person. I'm like, "You need to tell me. I'm not deciding this, right, for you. You need to tell me. I need to then assess whether you feel like you are in the right headspace or you are ready for a relationship." And then I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool, cool." And then I'm like, "Okay." So for me, instantly, I was like, red flag. Like this guy clearly, this is very, very early on. Like you've not probably not even processed what's happened in the last 6 years. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, so what happened? Like what went wrong and stuff like that. And he's like, "Oh, like this, that, and the other." And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine." And then, like, I told him, I'm like, so we're talking about, "Oh, what are you looking for?" So we spoke about that. And then I think it was like we'd been talking for about 2 weeks or 3 weeks, like something like that. And then he decided to tell me that he's actually got 2 kids.
Oh
And I was
gosh.
like,
Like, there's
uh,
nothing wrong with someone having kids, but why would you wait that long?
I was like, why did you not tell me you had like 2 children? And he's like, "Oh, I just wanted to see where it went." I was like, "That's what you need to put in your profile. Like, you need to put that you have. That's why it's an option on a profile. Have children, don't have children, don't want children, all that kind of stuff, right?" And I was like, "Why is it not on your profile?" And he's like, "Oh, if I put it on my profile, then girls don't like you. Girls don't match with you." And I'm like, "The girls who don't want to take that on don't match with you." And I was like, "You're not
Yeah.
going into this with honesty." I was like, "You're like, do you know what I mean? You have to be transparent about these things." And I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Where does your ex live? Like, is she close by? Whatever." She lives in the basement.
Hey?
They live in the same house. Yeah. Do you know how in Canada, like
You know
people live in the
that
basement?
sounds yeah, but you know that sounds like such Hicksville, "I've got her trapped" shit. Like,
I was
she's, like,
actually like,
scratching at the walls trying to get out.
I was like, so you're telling me you're going through a separation with 2 children. You've only been out of this relationship for like what 5 minutes. Your ex still lives in the same house as you, and you're looking for another woman.
Also, why is she living in the basement?
Don't know. I don't know. So I was like, "Yeah, this is not gonna work out. See you later. Goodbye."
Mate. Actual
Honestly,
give
like
over.
and then people are like, "Oh, why don't you put yourself out there? Why do you date?" And I'm like, "Have you seen what's out there? Like, do
Exactly.
you know what is out there? Like, do
It's
you
so
know
true.
the, like, apocalypse you're trying to, like, push us into?"
You
Like,
thought the rainstorm last night was bad, mate. You should see what's on these dating apps half the time. Like,
exactly.
seriously.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Like, it is the fucking wild, wild west. I mean, we're seeing meet us in the wild. Oh, the wild, wild west, alright? Not the fucking wild, wild west. I don't want Hicksville, like, the ex in the basement scratching herself out of there, like, situation. I want a very
Oh,
normal, normal situation, yeah.
exactly. No, that's wild. But you know what's really funny is one of my school friends, she actually messaged me that she listened to our first podcast and she'd
Ah,
yeah, it was such a sweet message. Like she sent us a voice note about it and she was just like saying like, yeah, you know, you're right. You know, I got out of this really long-term relationship and then the dating app scared me, but she actually found her new partner out in the wild. I'm like, see if it can happen for other people, why couldn't it happen for us?
good for you, girl. Good
Like,
for
I'm
you.
so happy for her. And she's like, you know, we've been together for 3 years now. What else did she say? She's like, you know, no one's perfect, but he treats me so well. And I'm like, yes, like you deserve it. I haven't seen
Yeah.
her recently. And we've only kept in touch like very rare occasions or like I randomly bumped into her. But like
I love that for her.
yeah, at school, we were like such good friends and she would make me laugh so much. And I'm just so glad that like it's working out for her now.
Oh,
Like,
good
so
for
you
her.
know who you are, gay to you.
Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good oh,
But
that's
nah,
nice.
mate, you lot on these apps, whether you're a man or woman, fix yourself up, Simran and Rajes. Like, seriously,
Sort
what's wrong
yourselves
with
out.
you
Do you have
lot?
any more siblings?
I do. Um, let's have a look. I had, so, okay, this is Simran. I have on multiple occasions interrupted somebody on the phone by saying, my mum, sister, or friend is calling, so I need to cut it short. Never
I've
spoken
done
to
that.
them again. I have since stopped treating boys like shit.
To be honest, I've done that before.
But like, why
There was
are you
one
doing it?
guy
Is it genuinely because you need an out? Because like this is just like, oh no,
yeah,
thank
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yeah, fine.
There was genuinely one time oh my god, there was this one guy and he literally spoke at me for like an hour and a half.
I've
Like,
had
on
that
the phone.
before.
At one point, I just put the phone down and I was like, "Bondija," because, like, it wasn't a conversation. It wasn't like, getting to know each other's opinions and stuff. I literally just had him, like, on the side, and it was like a little radio just playing, going off, and occasionally I'd just like, "Mm, yeah, mhm." And like, "Oh," do you know what I mean?
See, you were talking at me and I just needed an out of this episode. God's sake. Anyway, in that situation where I need to get off the phone, you know, I just put it on airplane mode. I put it on
Uh,
airplane mode and pretend my phone died. The problem
yeah,
is now WhatsApp will warn if so like um there are friends that I will WhatsApp call and like video call them, but WhatsApp gives you a notification that the person's phone's about to die. So it wouldn't work if I wanted to
yeah,
get
it
off the phone.
tells you the battery thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So if I was trying to get off the phone and I was on the phone for a while, they'll be like, "Oh, but she's lying because I didn't get my warning sign." No, that is ridiculous. Okay, I've got another one. I had a really good rapport with a guy, went on a date, and you know when you both see each other and there is no physical attraction whatsoever, that happened both ways. But when we both proceeded on to the full date, food, activity, dessert, things very quickly stopped once we went home. I saw him last year with me with my son, him with his wife, who I know. He blushed and couldn't even say hello. Yeah,
Okay.
mate, why wouldn't he say hello? Like, are you okay?
Do you think he
Simran, chill
probably just
out. Like,
didn't want to tell his wife that how he knew?
but also, like, you went out once. Chill out, love. Calm down. Like, not
Yeah,
everything
but
gets a
he's probably
hello.
just like You know, I just don't wanna make it awkward.
Exactly. Or not even that, it probably was just genuinely awkward and he's just like, "Right, I'm gonna
Yeah,
go about my day." I'd ignore someone like that, like, no shame in my game.
yeah.
Anyway, shall we wrap it up from there with that
I think
awkward
so.
encounter?
I
Um,
think you wrapped it up pretty well, to be honest, shall we?
let's stick this episode on airplane mode.
Yes, there'll be plenty more dating stories where that came from. Please continue to send them in, and we will happily share them anonymously as promised. But yes, if you would like to follow us on socials, please go to Instagram at Rooted Voices Pod. Our TikTok is at rooted.voices.pod, and on sorry, our streaming services, whether it's YouTube, Spotify, and Apple, are all at Rooted Voices. Please follow, subscribe, like, comment, all that jazz. Show some love, people. And thank you so much for listening and watching.
And make sure you look out for this logo up here because then you know you're on the right track.
Yeah,
Thanks,
definitely.
guys.
We'll see you next time. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye.